Welcome and welcome back to your daily dose of common sense, because common sense is not that common. I want to discuss transgenderism or gender dysphoria. It seems to be a very popular topic these days, but it needs sensitive, logical discussion, so my video may be a bit longer than usual today. We have already discussed that straight, lesbian, gay, bi, and intersexed are what we are, our biological makeup. There is increasing evidence that our sexuality is genetically determined. This means that our genes decide for us whether we are straight, bi, or gay. This doesn't mean our parents are gay if we are, rather that there is a genetic anomaly in us that causes it. On the other hand, transgender, queer, and transsexual refers to our psychological makeup, or how we identify. Our minds tell us this, not our bodies. And the trans queer community actually agrees, because they will tell you, I identify as male, female, or queer. In general, the world is made up of binary systems, mathematics, the operation of electronic systems, and even the production of children. It is clear and accepted that gay and lesbian people cannot produce children on their own. It is true of the trans community too. Even if body modifications are made to turn people in the gender they identify as, these modifications are superficial and do not allow trans people to produce children as their preferred gender. In other words, trans men cannot make a woman pregnant, and trans women cannot get pregnant naturally. So, a physical issue like genetics cannot be altered. It is what we are. Psychologically, though, we can turn ourselves into what we want to be. The problem with this is that our psychology is affected by many external factors, and our psychological strength or weakness will determine how we react to these external factors. Our psychology often changes over time, and as I said in my sexuality video, our brains only stop developing at the age of 25, and the last part of the brain to develop is the neocortex, which creates logic, among other things. Despite our logic only clearly developing during our late teens and early 20s, the psychological stage that we are in during our teens and early 20s is the concrete operations stage, which means we firmly believe what we believe and everything has to be black or white, which we later learn is not true, but we cannot tell teens that. We also discussed before that growing up can be very confusing. I would suggest to parents of boys who act effeminately, or girls who display masculine behavior, or even children who express an interest in being the opposite gender, to relax and just let their children be themselves. Most children grow out of it, and the few who don't will end up as gay, lesbian, bisexual, or even transgender, and that's okay. I would, however, encourage parents of children displaying transgender tendencies to take the psychological route and see whether external factors have affected the child's psychological thinking. I would not encourage pigeonholing children or sticking labels on them. Let them be kids and don't allow any physical modifications to their bodies. Let them get to the last stage of brain development or legal adulthood before they make up their own minds about whether they want to change their bodies or not. There are a variety of psychological anomalies that look trans, but can be identified as other anomalies. Men who wear women's clothes, or men who will go as far as have breast enhancements but love their beards and could never say goodbye to their male genitals or hairy chests are not trans. There are other psychological terms for them. These people are making the acceptance of trans people in society very difficult. So what is gender dysphoria or transsexualism? It is the psychological state in which you have an utter dislike for your birth genitals or anything about yourself that will remind you of your birth gender. Trans people will do almost anything to look like, act like, and be accepted as the other gender. Many trans people will go as far as having their birth genitals removed and undergo gender affirmation surgery to completely distance themselves from their birth gender. Those who don't go that far often only stop there because they understand the risks involved in affirmation surgery. They will still take on the mannerisms of the opposite sex, though. Those who enjoy the idea of confusing others or displaying the characteristics of both genders are not trans. They have a community. They just need to find that community. Trans is not a blanket term for every person who has a fetish. People who are genuinely trans deserve a place in society and will probably do anything to fit into our binary world in their gender of choice, and we should be respectful of them. They will do their best to fit in. On the other hand, to the fetishists out there, it's not the duty of the general population to be overly sensitive to every person with a fetish or be expected to know what your preferred pronouns are. Your pronouns may change next week, and the world is far too busy to stop and work it out. If you are excited to continue this journey with me, just a few minutes at a time, please hit the like and subscribe buttons, as well as the notification bell. Please also tell your friends about my channel. This will allow me to reach more people and bring you more daily doses of common sense. I'll leave you with an intro to my next video. Is it love? See you in the next one.